Alright, so sorry my videos aren't in a timely manner here. Had finals this week, so that sucked. Because apparently, instead of taking tests, I'm supposed to make projects. And apparently, teachers need to have a scheduling application built for them, and, was not fun. I think I failed that class, but in fairness, there were 3 of us. And, yeah. We started with 6, had a little setback, it's a big thing. But anywho, I decided that for my movie review this week, I was going to do Mother's Day, because that's the holiday that just passed. And if I can find a movie that's based off of a holiday, I'm going to watch it and review it. So, which kind of narrows it down a little bit. Although this Friday, gonna have another review. 1,000 points for anybody who can guess what movie that's going to be. So Mother's Day. It's a Trauma release movie, which means it's going to be pure gold. If you don't know who Trauma is, obviously you're not any of my friends who are watching this, and that's kind of a shocker. So, yay, YouTube! Finding people who don't know me. But yeah, Trauma did The Toxic Avenger, Sergeant Kabuki Man, Poultry Guys, Romeo and Juliet, which is kind of funny that I mentioned that one because we actually watched Romeo and Juliet last night. And I had a friend who was very bold in his assumption that people would remember Shakespeare but not Trauma. I don't know, man. I don't know. You ask anybody to recite something from Hamlet, they're probably not going to be able to do it. You ask them to recite something from any Trauma movie, they're probably going to be able to do it. Just saying. You get an image of, like, Romeo on one side and friggin' Toxie on the other. People are going to be like, oh, that dude, I know who that dude is. Making bold assumptions there, Mr. Eric. Bold assumptions. So, anywho, moving on here. The movie opens, the movie being Mother's Day, opens at an EGO meeting, which is short for Ernie's Growth Opportunity. Not really sure if that was an empowerment meeting or a pyramid scheme meeting, because they really don't explain it in the beginning of the movie, and really they don't bring it up again. I would assume it was an empowerment thing, because everybody was looking at their neighbor and kissing them and being like, I love you. And that wouldn't work unless it was like prostitution. Which I don't think you tell whores that you love them. You might. They might charge extra for that. I don't know how whores work. Somebody get back to me on that, how whoring works. Need to find that out. I've got a cat pimping business I want to start. So, anywho, as the meeting finishes, an elderly woman is seen talking to a younger hippie couple. The wife's name is never given, but the man's name is Charlie. I don't know why that was relevant to the plot, but whatever. I suppose it's to humanize them, because the first thing they say when you're in a situation where you think you're about to be killed is always say your name, so that you're no longer like an object. You're a person at that point. So, and by them I mean people who specialize in, non-serial killer abductingness. It's a class that they offered at the local community college. I don't know if anybody knew about that, but it was offered. I didn't take it. True story, though, there is one called ethical hacking. I did not know that. Found that out yesterday from a friend of mine. But anyway, this young couple's talking to this old woman, and young couple, man, Charlie, are talking to this old woman, and they convince her to take them to ride the bus. Take them home instead of having them ride the bus, which the bus sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I ride the bus to and from work a lot. To and from school a lot. Well, from school a lot. A lot. And let me tell you something. It would take me 15 minutes to get to any point that I need to be if I had a car. But because I take the bus, it's almost an hour. And no, I don't care for that at all. So anywho, the old woman's driving them home because she's agreed to drive them home, which, is nice. Oh, nice old lady. Nothing major happens during this whole, like, scene that she's driving them. There's small talk. We find out that the old lady heard about the EGO meeting, which was, again, short for Ernie's Growth Opportunity, on the news report on the TV. And then you also find out that, like, the couple wants to kill the old woman. I mean, they don't really say they want to kill him, but it's kind of obvious with the husband kind of nodding towards the old woman like that, and there's, like, that rope that comes out of nowhere. I don't know where he got the rope. Maybe it's a butt rope. people keep butt? Yeah, do people keep butts in their rope? No, do people keep ropes in their butt? Do they? I mean, other than freaky people? Do hippies have ropes in their butt? I don't know. Somebody find me a hippie and let's see what's up that butt. So, you know, small talk. You got this idea, you got the sense of, you know, the couple wants to kill the old woman. And then all of a sudden the old woman's car breaks down. So, of course, she gets out of her car to, you know, check under the hood, see if her engine's working. I don't know how cars work. I figure you put in the key and you go vroom vroom. That's it. Not a clue. I don't need to know how cars work, okay? I'm pretty. So she's out there trying to pretend that she knows how cars work. Maybe she knows how car works. Some girls do, and, you know, more power to them. But yeah, she's out there trying to figure that out, and while she's doing that, all of a sudden these two, like, strange men come out of the woods, because they're, like, going through the woods to get to the old lady's house. Which, I don't know why, but whatever. Apparently she needed to go feed her cats before she dropped the hippies off. Because old people have cats. Old people and some young people. Lots of single guys have kitties. No judgments there. Lots of judgments there. No judgments there. Alright, let's move on. So, and I'm sorry if I go on tangents with this one, because Mother's Day was not the most fantastic movie out there. I think the only reason I watched it originally was because I heard a rumor that Eli Roth was going to be remaking the movie, and I wanted to see what he worked with, because I have a habit of, when I hear a movie's going to be remade, I watch the original, just so I know what to expect. So a lot of the movies that I review on here are going to be the originals, not the remakes. Select few remakes that I'll be reviewing, but I'll get to that at the end of this review. So yeah, these two crazy guys come out of the woodwork, and one's got an aviator helmet on, the other one's got a knight's helmet on. And Charlie gets decapitated, the hippie chick gets raped and beaten, and nothing happens to the old lady. And you're just like, well, that is so sweet. Serial killers have a heart. They don't, you know, pick on neck-braced old ladies. But no, the old lady ends up strangling the woman while saying she loves her, sort of like an FU to the meeting, I suppose. And before the opening title appears, you learn that the men are actually the old woman's son. So then, you know, flash forward a little bit. There's the opening title. It says Mother's Day. Fanciness. You know, the blood drip down, which is so classy in, you know, those kind of horror movies. A few girls are having a slideshow party. I'm not sure if it's a sorority or just a few friends, because there was only 3 of them. And I think sororities are more than 3 women. I don't know. Never been in a sorority. Don't know the rules for that. So, but they are college-age girls, because it's mentioned that the slideshows are happening at Wolf Breath College in 1970, which I want to find out if Wolf Breath actually exists, and if it does, I need to tour it. Kind of like Miskatonic. Alright, if Miskatonic and Wolf Breath exist, I need to get an IT degree in either one of those. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about with Miskatonic, awesome. For those of you who don't, roll sanity. Great and powerful Cthulhu's gonna come and get ya. Yep. Alright. So, but yeah, they're watching their little slideshow, and, you know, they're having fun. They're like, oh my god, is the Rat Pack gonna be around forever? Which, I don't know, because I think some of them are dead. But I learned that they're not talking about that Rat Pack, which I think that Rat Pack is Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Sammy Davis Jr. I think. But this Rat Pack is like a bunch of broads. I don't know. It's weird. And, you know, they're doing the whole reminiscing thing. And they're like, oh my god. Did she see her butt, Becky? Which, I don't know. I guess when I'm talking about each other's asses. And one of the girls questions how it will be in the future. So you flash forward to present time. Or present time during the release of the movie, which I think was the 80s. And one of the women seems really well off. I mean, she's throwing a pool party. There are random conversations everywhere. There's roller skating, because nobody in the 80s, some of the 80s, you know, ever walked anywhere. I mean, everything was roller skated. I'm expecting sometime in the future for there to be movies where everybody segues everywhere. You know, people are like, what are legs and walking? Segway! My sister just kind of shook her head at me. She knows it's gonna happen. But yeah, there's roller skating and people are doing lines of coke, which, don't know. I think that might mean that it's a Charlie Sheen party. Did Charlie Sheen do coke? I don't know. I know he hit somebody. Now he's at home. Winning. Yeah, you're winning alright, buddy. Writers, just write him out, seriously. Write him out and have that series just end with, like, Ducky. Be like, oh, we're sorry, he got herpes, syphilitis, AIDS. You know, everybody will cry. You get some actor who's like... You know what you do? You, like, pair it up with House is what you do, alright? You pair 2.5 Men with House, and... Because Hugh Laurie should be in everything. And what you do is... You're like, oh no! Charlie Sheen's character in 2.5 Men has gotten into a car accident. He can't walk. He's a paraplegic. And then, you know, in House, he's like, he has lupus and syphilis and all kinds of weird diseases. And then Cuddy runs by with all her cleavage. You know, it'd be an awesome show. I think people will love it. If somebody actually comes up with that, I want credit. So yeah, they're doing coke at this party, and there's actually a bit of that in this movie. And this woman receives a telegram at the end of all this conversation and coke doing. Then we flash to another woman in glasses. She doesn't seem to be well off at all. She lives in a small apartment with her mother, and her mother seems to be demanding. Accuses her daughter of working as a whore, and repeats 1,001 times that she's a sick woman. Not that the daughter's a sick woman, but that the mother's a sick woman. So it's kind of like the, you know, guilt sympathy card there. Perhaps the mother was Jewish. I don't know. But it seems to be a stereotypical Jewish thing. Guilt. And she also receives a telegram. The daughter, not the mother at all. The mother, you don't really see at all. Then we cut away to another apartment where a woman is retrieving messages from an answering machine. Apparently, one of the 3 friends was very well off, and the other 2 just had sarcastic lives. Not fair. So, and this third woman is actually going into her apartment, and she's getting messages from her mother saying, "Oh, hey, I got you set up on a date with Leroy Jenkins. It's pretty popular, you know, plays that wow crack stuff." And the other one's from her husband saying that he banged some hookers and wants a divorce. That never actually happened in this movie, but I'm trying to make it more interesting because, like I said, Mother's Day was not a good movie. In my opinion. It's pretty slow. And then this woman is suddenly assaulted in her apartment. You're thinking, oh yes, finally! Finally, something is happening in this movie. No, it's her deadbeat boyfriend who's attacking her. And it's one of those, ha ha ha, I surprised you type attacks, not a legit attack. Made me angry. I expected somebody to be dead. Nobody was dead yet. Unless you count Hippie Chick and Charlie. Which I had no emotional attachment to either on this. And, you know, I say that he's a deadbeat because he steals from her like $50 out of her wallet when her back's turned. He doesn't have a job because he's an artist, you know. Oh, it's so hard to, you know, be appreciated there. And he does lines of coke in her apartment. Again with the coke. Again with the coke. He can't even say he loves her when she leaves to begin her camping weekend, which was, you find out why the other 2 women were getting telegrams is because she, the woman involved here, was the one to send him out to her. You find out her name's Jackie. So Jackie picks up the other 2 women. There's small talk about what's going on in everyone's life. Nobody catching up. Jackie has to put the 2 other women in paper bags. So put paper bags on their heads. Okay, we're not at anything violent yet. And that makes me sad because this video is almost 15 minutes long. The next one's probably going to be an additional 15 minutes and nothing's happening. It's kind of an irony thing. So, moving on. Puts them in paper bag, puts their heads in paper bags so they can't be revealed where they're going. Eventually, Jackie stops at a gas station because of beer demands. She makes small talk with the convenience clerk, which was not anybody from the movie Clerks at all. Was disappointed in that too. Would have made the movie if I would have seen Dante and he would have been like, I'm not supposed to be here today, and I would have been like, oh my god, this movie got so much better. Didn't happen.